So yesterday we had Jeff Wellen on the podcast, and a huge lesson that I took away from that, and as a podcaster who talks daily, the irony isn't missed here, but I often don't put enough effort into it. And so Jeff really painted it in a clear way that I need to put more effort into it, and that is understanding our stories. His book is almost 500 pages long, and I don't do that to scare you, but I do that to say that there's a richness to that book that comes from documenting your stories. And they're little stories, like the one about the Boy Scouts that he shared. It's these stories that allow our kids to understand who we are. I did a podcast interview today that I'm recording this, which is the Monday, so yesterday, that reminded me of understanding and documenting those to our kids. Just what we're learning about today, what we're reading about today. How does that apply in life? And documenting that so our kids have a way to understand how we thought, what we learned in the time that we were here, and how could they shortcut their learnings instead of learning it when they're 37 like I am today. How can I help them understand it when they're 21? Hal Runkel is an author, that a mentor of mine, and I often admire because he uses his books as a way to pass on information to his kids that he got wrong, and for them to have a pathway into life. He wrote a book, Choose Your Own Adulthood, recently, and that was a gift to his son going into adulthood of this is how he wanted his son to understand life works. So all of this to come back to, if you're not documenting your stories like Jeff, or if you aren't even spending a little bit of energy to document what you're learning about, I think you're missing out on something that I don't know where it's going to go. But for me, I know even these podcasts, all the different podcasts that I've been doing over 3 years, these are all going to be things that hopefully my kids remember, utilize, listen to someday. And maybe if I die in a week from now, which God, hopefully I don't, that these will be things that like my voice was recorded. There's something that I've heard with a couple different interviews on podcasts where the interview that someone did, they did suddenly die afterwards. And this interview that they did became like a time capsule of their voice. Think of that, just think of that one moment right there. How many places is your voice digitally recorded? Now, it might be on some movies on your iPhone. It might be on some old videos. But is there a place where they can just go to hear your voice? Think of how many cliche moments in a movie where someone saves a voicemail for years and years and years because that voicemail is the reminder of that person's voice. So whatever you're doing, wherever your life takes you in listening to this episode, if you haven't listened to Jeff Wellens yesterday, go check it out. Homework, document your stories, document your voice so that your kids can understand the wisdom from your life and so that they can apply it in theirs. And I'll be back again with you guys tomorrow.